Life has a way of testing us. Some tests are small, some feel like storms that will never end. We fall, we break, and we struggle believing that telling our story of pain will ease the burden. But the truth is, no one truly understands your pain the way you do. People will listen, nod, and sympathize for a moment, but the next second they move on with their lives. And you? You are still stuck in the same place, repeating the same story, feeling the same pain. But tell me, does sharing your suffering make it disappear? No, it only gives it power over you. If you keep talking about what's broken, you will never find the strength to rebuild. Instead of telling the world how tough your life is, show them how strong you are. Let your actions speak louder than your complaints. I have learned one thing: strength is not in the tears we shed, but in the battles we fight behind closed doors. It is in waking up every morning, despite the pain, despite the struggles, and deciding to move forward. Your problems are your teachers. They come not to break you, but to build you. So, instead of seeking sympathy, seek solutions. Instead of sharing wounds, share wisdom. Because at the end of the day, the world doesn't need another story of struggle, it needs a story of victory. Let that story be yours. Your problems are not just obstacles, they are teachers in disguise. Every hardship, every setback, and every challenge carries within it a lesson that has the power to shape you into a stronger, wiser, and more resilient version of yourself. Often we see problems as barriers to success, but in reality, they are the stepping stones that lead us toward growth. They push us beyond our comfort zones, force us to think differently, and make us realize the strength we never knew we had. Without problems, life would be predictable, stagnant, and without meaning. It is in our darkest moments that we find the light of wisdom, and it is through our struggles that we discover our true potential. When we face difficulties, our first instinct is to resist them, to ask why this is happening to us. We look at others and wonder why their lives seem easier, why they don't seem to struggle the way we do. But what we fail to realize is that every person has their own battles, their own silent struggles that they might not show to the world. The difference is in how they perceive those struggles. Some people see problems as a curse, while others see them as a teacher guiding them towards something greater. The moment you shift your mindset and start looking at your problems as lessons, everything changes. You no longer feel like a victim. Instead, you feel like a student of life, learning and growing with every challenge that comes your way. Think about the times in your life when you were truly tested. Maybe it was a failure that shattered your confidence, a heartbreak that left you feeling lost, or a setback that made you question your worth. In those moments, it felt like the end of the world. But when you look back now, you realize that those very experiences shaped you into the person you are today. They taught you patience, resilience, and the ability to stand tall, even when life tried to bring you down. The pain you once feared became the strength you now carry. The struggles you once hated became the wisdom you now share. Every tear, every sleepless night, every moment of doubt was preparing you for something bigger. The most successful and inspiring people in the world are not those who never face difficulties. They are the ones who turned their struggles into stepping stones. They understood that every challenge was a lesson, every failure was a redirection, and every problem was an opportunity to grow. They did not complain about their hardships. Instead, they embraced them, learned from them, and used them to fuel their journey forward. Your problems are here to teach you, but only if you are willing to listen. If you keep running away from them, if you keep complaining about them, you will miss the lessons they are trying to give you. Instead of asking, why is this happening to me? Ask, what is this trying to teach me? Shift your focus from frustration to curiosity. When you start seeing problems as teachers, you will begin to understand that life is not punishing you, it is preparing you. Every closed door is teaching you patience. Every betrayal is teaching you about trust. Every failure is teaching you resilience. Every disappointment is teaching you about expectations. The lessons are always there, waiting for you to recognize them. You just have to be willing to see beyond the pain and find the purpose in it. Problems are not here to break you, they are here to build you into someone who is unstoppable. The choice is yours. Will you see them as barriers, or will you embrace them as your greatest teachers? People listen, but few truly care. This is one of the hardest truths of life, yet one that can set you free if you truly understand it. We often believe that sharing our problems, expressing our pain, and speaking about our struggles will bring comfort, relief, and perhaps even solutions. But more often than not, we find that people may listen, but their attention is fleeting. They hear our words, nod in understanding, and perhaps even offer a few kind words, But once the conversation is over, they move on with their lives. They do not carry our burdens, they do not feel our pain the way we do, and they are not responsible for solving our problems. The reality is that most people are preoccupied with their own struggles, their own ambitions, and their own emotional battles. Even those who seem to show interest in your problems have their own concerns that take priority. This is not because people are cruel or heartless, but because everyone is dealing with their own life in their own way. It is human nature to focus on personal survival, to prioritize one's own worries before taking on the weight of someone else's. When you understand this, you stop expecting people to solve your problems and start realizing that you are the only one who truly can. Think about the moments when you have shared your deepest struggles with someone. Did their sympathy change your situation? Did their kind words remove your pain? For a brief moment, it might have felt comforting, but in the long run, nothing changed unless you took action yourself. The truth is, no matter how much you talk about your problems, no matter how many people listen, you are still the one who has to deal with them. You are still the one who has to wake up every morning and face your reality. And while it may seem unfair, it is also empowering because it means that you do not have to rely on anyone else to fix your life. You hold the power to change your circumstances. There will be people who pretend to care, those who listen only out of politeness, and those who appear to be interested but forget your words the moment they leave the conversation. Then there are those who truly care, perhaps a handful in a lifetime, but even they can only offer so much. Even the most caring people cannot live your struggles for you. They can support you, encourage you, and stand by your side. But in the end, the journey is yours alone. When you stop expecting the world to carry your burdens, you start to build your own strength. You stop seeking validation and sympathy and instead focus on finding solutions. You learn to stand on your own, to be your own comfort, and to rely on yourself for emotional and mental strength. You become independent in a way that makes you unshakable because you no longer depend on others to fix what is broken within you. It is not wrong to talk about your struggles. It is not wrong to seek comfort in others. But it becomes a problem when you expect the world to care as deeply as you do. The moment you realize that most people will listen but few will truly care, you set yourself free from disappointment. You stop wasting time looking for external solutions and start focusing on the internal strength that has been within you all along. Instead of seeking listeners, seek action. Instead of looking for sympathy, look for ways to heal. Your strength is not in how many people listen to you, it is in how you rise, despite knowing that most never truly will. Your pain does not define you. It is a part of your journey, but it is not the whole story. Too often, people allow their suffering to become their identity, carrying it like a badge that determines how they see themselves and how they expect the world to see them. They let their heartbreak, failures, and disappointments shape their self-worth, believing that their struggles are a permanent mark of who they are. But pain is not meant to be a prison, it is meant to be a teacher. It is something you experience, not something you become. Life is full of hardships, and no one is spared from pain. Some people go through loss, others face betrayal, and some battle silent struggles that no one even knows about. But the difference between those who rise and those who remain stuck is the way they see their pain. If you believe that your pain defines you, you will carry it everywhere, allowing it to dictate your choices, your mindset, and your future. You will start to believe that you are broken beyond repair, that your past mistakes, traumas, or hardships are permanent scars on your soul. But if you choose to see pain as a chapter instead of the whole book, you will understand that it does not control your destiny. It is only a stepping stone towards something greater. Pain is inevitable, but suffering is a choice. Everyone feels pain at some point, but not everyone lets it consume them. There are people who have been through unimaginable suffering, yet they refuse to let it define them. They rise above their struggles, using them as fuel to become stronger, wiser, and more compassionate. They understand that pain is temporary, but the strength gained from overcoming it lasts forever. On the other hand, some people let their pain dictate their lives, holding on to it so tightly that they cannot see beyond it. They replay their past wounds over and over, allowing them to shape their thoughts, their actions, and their beliefs about what is possible. You are not your heartbreak. You are not your failures. You are not your past mistakes. You are not the suffering you have endured. You are the person who survived, the person who is still standing despite everything. Your pain may have tested you, but it did not destroy you. It may have left scars, but those scars are proof that you healed, that you fought, and that you refused to give up. Your strength, your resilience, and your ability to keep going are what define you, not the pain itself. The world is filled with people who have been through difficult experiences, but they are not remembered for their suffering, they are remembered for how they overcame it. The greatest stories of success, inspiration, and hope come from those who refuse to be defined by their struggles. They did not allow their pain to dictate their future. Instead, they used it as motivation to create something better. They turned their wounds into wisdom, their losses into lessons, and their suffering into strength. You have that same power. No matter what you have been through, you are not trapped by your pain unless you choose to be. You can decide to break free, to move forward, and to create a new story for yourself, one where you are not a victim of your past, but a survivor who refused to be defeated. The pain you have experienced is real, but it does not define who you are. What defines you is how you rise, how you heal, and how you choose to move forward despite it all. Energy spent complaining is energy wasted. Every moment you spend talking about what is wrong, what is unfair, or what is not going your way is a moment you could have used to make things better. Complaining feels natural, it gives temporary relief, makes us feel heard, and allows us to express our frustrations. But in reality, it does not change anything. It does not solve the problem, it does not improve the situation, and it certainly does not move you forward. Instead, it drains you, keeps you stuck in negativity, and wastes the very energy you could have used to create solutions. Life is full of challenges, and everyone faces difficulties at some point. Some people complain about their problems while others take action to fix them. The difference between success and failure, happiness and frustration, progress and stagnation, is often found in how a person responds to adversity. Those who complain remain focused on what is wrong, while those who take action focus on what can be done. Complaining is easy, it requires no effort, no courage, and no responsibility. But changing your situation requires strength, determination, and the willingness to take control of your own life. Every time you complain, you reinforce negativity in your mind. You train yourself to see problems instead of opportunities, limitations instead of possibilities, and obstacles instead of solutions. The more you talk about what is wrong, the more powerless you feel, because you convince yourself that your situation is beyond your control. But the truth is, you have more control than you think. You may not be able to change everything, but you can always change your attitude, your actions, and your approach. People who constantly complain attract more negativity into their lives. They surround themselves with others who do the same, creating an environment where problems are magnified but solutions are ignored. On the other hand, those who refuse to complain and instead focus on improvement attract positivity. They become problem solvers, innovators, and leaders. They inspire others by showing that challenges can be overcome, not by talking about them, but by taking action. Time is one of the most valuable resources you have, and how you use it determines the quality of your life. When you spend hours complaining about what is wrong, you lose time that could have been spent making things right. If you are unhappy with your job, complaining about it will not change anything. Looking for a new opportunity or developing new skills will. If you are struggling in a relationship, complaining about your partner will not help. Communicating and finding solutions will. If you feel stuck in life, blaming circumstances will not move you forward. Taking responsibility and making better choices will. The most successful people in the world do not waste their energy complaining. They face the same struggles, setbacks, and disappointments as everyone else, but instead of dwelling on them, they use their energy to move forward. They channel their frustration into motivation, their anger into productivity, even their pain into purpose. They understand that every second spent complaining is a second that could have been spent creating a better future. There will always be things in life that are unfair, difficult, or frustrating, but how you respond to them is what truly matters. You can either waste your energy focusing on what is wrong, or you can use that energy to make things better. The choice is always yours, and the results will always reflect the decisions you make. Strength is silent, resilience is loud. True strength is not about showing the world how powerful you are, proving your worth, or seeking validation for your struggles. It is found in quiet moments, in the battles fought behind closed doors, in the choices made when no one is watching. It does not need attention, applause, or recognition because it exists within. It is the ability to stand tall in the face of adversity, to endure hardship without complaint, and to keep going when everything inside you wants to give up. Resilience, on the other hand, is loud not in words, but in action. It is seen in the way a person rises after falling, in the determination to keep moving forward despite setbacks, and in the courage to rebuild after everything has fallen apart. It is not about avoiding difficulties, but about facing them head on, refusing to let them break you. Resilience is the echo of strength, the proof that it exists. It is not about how loudly you declare that you are strong, it is about how boldly you prove it through perseverance. Many people mistake loudness for strength. They think that being strong means being aggressive, outspoken, or constantly proving their toughness to others. But real strength does not need to be displayed. It is not about reacting to every situation with force or making sure people know you are capable. Instead, it is about self-control, patience, and knowing that true power does not come from words, it comes from the ability to withstand, to endure, and to remain unshaken. Those who possess silent strength do not seek pity or sympathy. They do not feel the need to broadcast their struggles or demand recognition for their pain. Instead, they carry their burdens with dignity, knowing that they do not need the world's approval to validate their journey. They understand that every hardship they face is shaping them, molding them into a stronger version of themselves. They do not allow their struggles to turn them bitter. Instead, they let them build resilience. Resilience is not just about surviving, it is about thriving despite the hardships. It is about refusing to be defined by circumstances, refusing to let pain become an identity. It is seen in those who continue to push forward even after being knocked down countless times. It is in the single mother working tirelessly to provide for her children, in the entrepreneur who refuses to give up despite repeated failures, in the person who finds the strength to heal after heartbreak and loss. Resilience is loud, but it does not speak in words. It speaks in persistence, in action, in the refusal to surrender. Life will always test you. It will put obstacles in your path, challenge your limits, and force you to face moments where giving up seems like the easiest option. But the way you respond determines everything. Strength allows you to stand firm, and resilience ensures that you keep going. It does not matter how many times you fall. What matters is that you rise every single time. Those who are truly strong do not need to announce their power. They do not need to prove anything to the world. Their resilience speaks for them. It is visible in their actions, in their ability to endure, and in the way they continue moving forward when others would have given up. Strength remains silent because it does not need validation. Resilience, however, is loud because it is impossible to ignore. It is the unshakable force that turns pain into power, setbacks into comebacks, and struggles into success. Inspire, don't seek sympathy. Life is full of struggles, setbacks, and hardships, and it is natural to want support from others. However, there is a difference between seeking encouragement and looking for sympathy. Sympathy may provide temporary comfort, but it does not change anything. It does not solve your problems, fix your pain, or make you stronger. What truly changes your life is the decision to rise above your struggles and become an inspiration instead of a victim. People who constantly seek sympathy often find themselves stuck in the same cycle of negativity. They keep repeating their problems, hoping for understanding, validation, or emotional relief. But in doing so, they give away their power. They allow their struggles to define them, their pain to control them, and their circumstances to dictate their future. Sympathy may make you feel heard, but it does not give you the strength to move forward. Instead, it keeps you trapped in a mindset where you see yourself as helpless rather than capable. On the other hand, those who choose to inspire others through their struggles take a different path. They do not deny their pain, nor do they pretend that life is easy, but instead of focusing on what went wrong, they focus on how they overcame it. They share their journey not to gain pity, but to give hope. They show others that even the hardest battles can be won, that resilience is possible, and that strength is something built, not given. They understand that true empowerment comes not from seeking sympathy, but from proving that hardships can be turned into stepping stones for something greater. Everyone goes through pain, but how you handle it determines the impact you leave on the world. Some people allow their pain to break them, while others use it as a source of strength. The choice is always yours. Will you let your struggles consume you, or will you use them to inspire others? When you shift your perspective from seeking sympathy to becoming an example of perseverance, everything changes. You stop feeling powerless and start realizing the control you have over your own story. People admire those who rise despite difficulties. They look up to those who refuse to let challenges define them. When you show that you can overcome, that you can keep going despite failures, you give others permission to do the same. Your story, your resilience, and your courage can become the light that guides someone else through their darkest times. But that only happens when you decide to be an inspiration instead of someone who only seeks comfort and sympathy. Seeking sympathy might bring momentary relief, but it never brings lasting change. It keeps you dependent on others for validation, rather than empowering you to take charge of your own life. True transformation happens when you decide to stand tall, to turn your pain into a lesson, and to use your struggles as a source of motivation rather than a reason to surrender. Your hardships are not meant to weaken you, they are meant to build you. Every challenge you face is an opportunity to grow, to become stronger, and to show the world that difficulties do not define a person. How they respond to those difficulties does. When you stop looking for sympathy and start living as an inspiration, you not only change your own life, but also become a source of hope for others. You prove that no matter what happens, resilience is always possible, strength can always be found, and a better future is always within reach. Turn wounds into wisdom. Every hardship, every failure, and every painful experience holds a lesson within it. Life does not promise comfort, nor does it offer immunity from struggles. Everyone faces heartbreak, betrayal, loss, and disappointment at some point. But what sets people apart is how they respond to these wounds. Some allow pain to consume them, turning them bitter and resentful, while others choose to transform their suffering into strength, their wounds into wisdom. Pain is inevitable, but growth is optional. When faced with adversity, it is easy to fall into the trap of self-pity, questioning why things went wrong, and dwelling on the unfairness of life. But staying in that space only deepens the wound. True healing begins when you shift your focus from suffering to learning. Instead of asking, "Why did this happen to me?" ask, "What is this trying to teach me?" Every setback, every disappointment carries valuable lessons about people, about life, and about yourself. Wounds teach resilience. They show you that even when you are broken, you can rebuild. They prove that pain does not last forever, that strength is developed in difficult moments, and that the things that once seemed unbearable eventually become part of your past. The strongest people are not those who have never been hurt, but those who have been hurt and still choose to move forward. They understand that pain is a teacher, and they refuse to let their wounds define them. Wisdom comes from reflection. It is not enough to experience pain, you must analyze it, understand it, and take its lessons with you. Every mistake teaches something about decision-making. Every heartbreak reveals something about love and trust. Every failure provides insight into perseverance and patience. When you view your wounds as stepping stones rather than roadblocks, you start to see challenges as opportunities for personal growth. Holding on to pain without learning from it leads to a cycle of suffering. Many people relive their past wounds over and over, carrying resentment, anger, and regret. But carrying pain without purpose only weighs you down. It keeps you stuck in the past, preventing you from moving forward. Turning wounds into wisdom means accepting what has happened, extracting its lessons, and using that knowledge to create a better future. Growth requires a shift in perspective. Pain can make you bitter or better, it is your choice. You can either dwell on how unfair life has been, or you can take control and use your experiences to become wiser, stronger, and more compassionate. The things that once hurt you can become the very things that shape you into the person you are meant to be. Some of the greatest leaders, thinkers, and change makers in history have been people who turned their wounds into wisdom. They refused to be defined by their struggles, and instead they used their pain to inspire, teach, and uplift others. Life is not about avoiding pain. It is about learning how to rise after it. No experience is wasted if it leaves you wiser. The lessons you gain from your struggles become the tools you use to navigate future challenges with greater clarity and strength. When you understand that your wounds have the power to shape you in positive ways, you stop fearing hardship. You recognize that every setback is a setup for a comeback, and every scar is proof of survival. Turn your wounds into wisdom, and you will find that nothing in life is ever truly lost. Even in your darkest moments, there is something to gain insight, resilience, and a deeper understanding of yourself and the world around you. Let your past struggles be your greatest teachers, and let every pain you have endured become a source of wisdom that guides you forward. Rise and be your own light. Life is not always kind, nor does it always offer the support and guidance you seek. There will be moments when you feel lost, when darkness surrounds you, and when no one comes to lift you up. In those moments, you must remember that the power to rise is within you. You do not need to wait for someone else to show you the way. You must become your own source of strength, your own inspiration, and your own guiding light. It is easy to rely on others for encouragement, for reassurance, or for motivation. But what happens when no one is there to offer a hand? What happens when the world seems indifferent to your struggles? The truth is, no one can fight your battles for you. No one can walk your path, endure your hardships, or heal your wounds. That is your journey alone. And the sooner you accept that, the sooner you will realize your own power. Pain, failure, and disappointment are inevitable. At some point, life will knock you down, and you may find yourself questioning your worth, your purpose, and your ability to keep going. But rising is not about having an easy path. It is about having the courage to stand even when everything seems to be falling apart. It is about finding the strength within yourself when there is no one else to lean on. That strength is already inside you, you just need to believe in it. Being your own light means taking responsibility for your happiness, your growth, and your future. It means refusing to be defined by your past, your failures, or your pain. It means understanding that no external source, no person, no situation, no validation can give you what you are looking for. True strength comes from within. The moment you stop looking outside for answers and start trusting yourself, you begin to see how powerful you truly are. There will always be challenges, but challenges are not meant to break you, they are meant to shape you. Every hardship you overcome adds to your strength. Every moment of doubt you push through builds resilience. And every time you rise after falling, you prove to yourself that you are capable of more than you ever imagined. You are not weak because you struggle. You are strong because you refuse to let your struggles define you. Many people spend their lives waiting for the right opportunity, waiting for someone to save them, waiting for the perfect moment to start. But waiting only delays growth. The truth is, no one is coming to rescue you. No one is responsible for your success, your happiness, or your peace of mind. That is entirely up to you. You must choose to rise, even when it is hard. You must choose to move forward, even when the path is unclear. And most importantly, you must choose to believe in yourself, even when no one else does. Being your own light does not mean you will never feel lost or afraid. It does not mean you will never experience doubt or fear. It simply means that no matter what, you will not let darkness consume you. You will find a way to rise, to grow, and to keep moving forward. You will learn to trust your journey, even when you cannot see the destination. You will remind yourself that you have survived every difficult day so far, and that you have the strength to survive many more. Rise and be your own light, because when you do, you not only illuminate your own path, you inspire others to do the same. Your strength, your resilience, and your courage will serve as a beacon for those who are struggling, showing them that it is possible to overcome, to heal, and to thrive. The world needs more people who refuse to be defeated by their circumstances, more people who choose to shine despite the darkness. Be one of them. Rise, not because someone else tells you to, but because you deserve to. Be your own light, because no one else can shine for you.